Welcome to Angular Baba YouTube channel. Today our topic is signal in Angular. In this video, we will be learning when and why signals was introduced in Angular, what is signal, and different ways to create signal. So let's start. Signals were introduced in Angular 16 and it was marked stable in Angular 17. Since then, it became very important topic uh, for many companies like Forbes, Upwork, Google, and Microsoft, and they are refactoring their code to use signals now. So now we will learn like what were the problems in lower versions of Angular. So first problem was earlier, Angular was relying on Zone.js to detect a single change in their applications, and it was like very time consuming. So let us understand this problem in deep and understand like how Zone.js is works. Suppose there is an application, there is one button, and there is one value. On click of this button, this value is getting changed, and to render this page there are like many components in the code like component A, component B, component C, component D, and component E. Now to detect a single change in this value, what zone.js was doing, it was like seeing component A, component B, component C, component D, and component E. So it was checking all the components to detect a single change in the value. And this was like very time consuming. Now let us understand the scenario of Microsoft. So Microsoft company has like lot of components, and if to detect a single change in a value, we will go through all the components, so it will take lot of time. So it was like very time consuming. Second problem in the lower versions of Angular was working with RxJS. Personally, as a developer, I can feel this point. One of the major issue that I found in RxJS that we have to like write manual subscription and unsubscriptions of observables, which was like more complex. And just think of a scenario when we will use nested observables. So in that scenario, using RxJS was like very much complex, and it become very like complex for other developers to understand also. So this one was also the major point for introducing signals in Angular. Our next topic is what is signals. Before we start through this topic, let us understand what is reactive programming. So if there is an application and in this application there are async events like click of a button and changing one value, click of a button and calling one API. So the way of doing coding to deal with such kind of events is called reactive programming. So yeah, to understand signals, we have to understand that signals deals with such kind of scenarios. So let us start this topic. Signals is a special variable that automatically updates the UI or other parts of your app when its value changes. It was introduced in Angular version 16 as part of reactivity model to make it easier and more efficient to track data changes. Let us learn like what signal is in lucid terms. So let's start whiteboard. You can think signal like a box which contains a value in it, And there are other boxes also, and each box contains a number, or you can say value, and you can imagine each box as a component. So what happens when certain value changes, like 5 change to 6, it doesn't check, it does not check all the components. Like it will not check this component and this component. It will only worry about the value which is changed in this box. It will not worried about the value which is changed outside it. Okay, so this is like Signal does very well. What Zone.js was doing earlier, it was like checking all the components, component 1, 2, 5, and 3. So it was checking all the component to see that value is changed or not. But Signal doesn't do that thing. It only checks for the value which is changed inside this particular box or particular component, because Angular 16 have like access to standalone components. So like this, but by using this standalone component, Signal works. We will do some practical and understand why signals are efficient than Zone.js. So let's start. First we will declare a variable counter equals to 0. Then we will increment it in set timeout. Is dot counter plus plus, we will put a time gap of 1 second. Then we will interpolate this counter in HTML in h1 tag. I have put like in ng after view checked, I have put like console.time and console.time in to detect like how much time it takes to detect a change in this counter variable. So let's go to our UI. Let's see in UI how much time it takes to detect a change. So okay, it is taking longer time. Let us make it 1 second. Now it is like 10 seconds. Let it make it 1 second. Save this change. Okay, so it takes this much time to detect a change when we are going through zone.js. In this scenario, we have not used signals, so uh, it takes this much time. So we will note it somewhere. We will write here zone.js. Okay, now we will use signal. So let's use that. So for using signal, you should be make sure that you are using Angular version 17.3.12. Then only you can use signal here. We will convert this counter to signal. And here there is a different way to set the signal. So instead of doing this dot counter plus plus, we will be doing this dot counter dot set. Here we will be doing this dot counter plus 1, and we will remove this code. But it is giving like error in my HTML that this is a counter variable, but now it is a method since I have used Angular. So here if I do this, it will solve this problem. Now see in UI. So change has been detected in this much time. So let's see in Notepad where we have copied zone.js. here we have used signal. So clearly you can see like this much time gap is there. Zone.js is taking longer time than signal. So this is the main reason to use signal uh, in your applications. And as a developer we are only concerned about two things, time and space, and this saves time. So we should always go with signal in our application. Now we will learn different ways to create signal. First is using signal function. That thing I already taught you. So this is like using signal function. There is one more way to update the value that I want to teach you. That is through update function. So this dot counter dot update this dot counter plus 1. So like this also value will be updated. So let's check that. See, it changes its value. So like this also we can update its value. These type of signals are also called writable signals. Now we will learn another way to create signal, that is using computed function. So let's start. So we will create one variable or one signal. We can call it as flag. We will set it as signal 2. Now what we will do, we will convert this counter to computed signal. So we will use computed function, and here what we will do, we will flag into 2, and we will import this computed. And here we need to make sure that this type of signals are only read only, so we cannot update it, only we can patch its value. So the thing that we can change is the flag value. So we will update flag to maybe to 3. Okay, so here we have 2. So 2 into 2 counter will be like 4 initially, and then the counter will be 2 plus 3 5, 5 into 10, 5 into 2 10. So counter value will be changed to from 4 to 10. Let's see in UI that this thing is happening or not. Initially the value is 4, then it changed to 10. So this is advantage of computed signals, and we need to make sure that these type of signals are always read only. We cannot update its value, but we can update the value of a signal which is into which it is dependent. Computed signals are also called derived signals. Now we will learn the third way to create signals, that is through effect. These are also known as like side effect listeners. So when a particular signal value changes, this function will be invoked. So let's understand it in deep by through coding. So we will create one constructor first, and then what we will do, we will create effect, and then what we will do, we will as this dot flag value is getting changed, so we will console dot log flag value is changed, this dot flag. Okay, so what will happen after 10 seconds, it will automatically log this value, but not before that. So let's test that in UI. So initially value is 4. Now flag value will be changed after 10 seconds. So it is changed, and see, flag value is 5. Flag value is 5 and counter value is 10. So like this, we can uh, like uh, make this signal. These are known as side effect listeners signals. Okay, so this is way of creating signal through effect. This is very important when we need to create an API when signal value change. So this has like many use cases. So that's all in this video. I will be coming up with next video very soon. Till then, have fun, and and don't trouble your mother and father.